So now we're going to work on how to solve a quadratic equation by factoring. So one of three strategies you can use. So let's look at an equation. Let's say we had an equation of 3x squared plus 12x minus 13 and equals 50. Now let's undo that for a second. Equals 50. Okay, and as with any quadratic equation, the first recommended step is to set it equal to 0 and just take a look at it. So I'm going to subtract 50 from both sides, and I'm going to end up with 3x squared plus 12x minus 63 equals 0. Now at this point, and always, you should look to see, are there any common factors across this polynomial that can be pulled out right away, and you may recognize right away that there's a 3 contained in all three terms. So we can pull that 3 out and we get 3 times x squared plus 4x minus 21 equals 0. Now, some people would say go ahead and divide both sides by 3. Since 0 is divided by 3 is 0, you're essentially looking at a situation where x squared plus 4x minus 21 equals 0, because no matter what, 3 times this has to equal 0. So this has to equal 0 because 3 does not. Now looking at this, you may notice right away, hopefully you've developed some strategies for factoring trinomials. The strategy I recommend is to set up your series of parentheses. I'm just going to set up a couple because I happen to know what this one is, but I know that the first term is going to be x, which makes it much easier to factor than if the leading coefficient is not a 1. Okay. I know that the two signs have to be different because I'm trying to produce a negative 21, so I'm going to have a plus and a minus. And I just always write them plus and minus. You can do minus and plus, it doesn't make any difference. So now I'm looking for a pair of factors of 21 that has a difference of 4. And since 21 minus 21 is 20, the only other choice is 7 and 3. And sure enough, 7 minus 3 is 4. When I combine those middle terms, I want the positive to be the larger absolute value of the two, so I'm going to put the 7 here and the 3 there. If I did it the other way around, I would end up with a negative 4x. I don't want that. So if this equals 0, that means that one of these two factors has to equal 0, meaning x plus 7 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. And hopefully you all know that if x plus 7 equals 0, x equals negative 7. And if x minus 3 equals 0, x equals 3. Now, depending on the problem situation, it could be that only one of these solutions makes sense, like in an area problem where you're trying to find out the possible width of a rectangle. Can't be negative, so it would be 3. But again, it depends on the problem situation. You need to think about what makes sense as far as your solutions are concerned. But that is one example of how to solve a quadratic equation by factoring. If you can factor it, do it. And set those factors, each individual, those linear factors, set them individually equal to 0 and solve them. And you are done. Okay, and that's it for now.